The story I'm about to share with you will probably scare you from using any sort of Uber or ride-sharing service in the future, so viewer discretion is advised. So the story starts in Scottsdale, Arizona, specifically on Mill Ave, where all the clubs are by ASU. At the time, I was 21, but my friend was only 20, so they had a fake ID. I had a real one. We tried to get into a club. I got in, and they didn't. They got their ID snatched, and they were threatened that the police were gonna get called, so we booked it. So we called an Uber to pick us up further down the road. Once we get in, why does this guy turn around and look at us slowly, dead in the eye, and say, "You're not gonna believe where I just came from." So me and my friend are looking at each other like, what the fuck is this guy about to say? And then he says, "Oh, I just came from the prison." Bitch, I was shook. Always in the weirdest situations, and I'm thinking, bitch, I got in the car with a convict. He's about to kidnap us, drive us over the border. Like, we're fucked. And after a very long and dramatic pause, he says, "Oh, I actually came from the prison because I'm a correctional officer on the side." So the whole way to my friend's house, he's telling us all these crazy ass stories about this celebrity and that celebrity that he booked for trafficking or for tax evasion. Once we get to my friend's house, I mention, "Oh, I'm gonna call another Uber," and the guy's like, "No, save yourself the trouble and just reroute the trip and I'll take you home." Big fucking mistake. Because the second my seatbelt clicked again and we drove off, this man's whole demeanor and the whole conversation changed. "Oh, I may be in my 60s, but I party with 20 and 30-year-olds. They like to invite me to stuff, like I'm pretty popular." Then he starts talking about, "Oh, I have a lot of rich friends that like to hang out with pretty girls," and immediately I'm like, okay, I know what this conversation is about to lead to. He tells me that he has a master's in psychology and he's working on his doctorate and he could read people really well and he would love to read me. So I said, "Okay, go ahead, let me know about myself." And he tells me I'm a broken woman. Telling me that I'm broken and I need to be taken care of by an older man. And then he asked me, "Have you ever been with any salt and pepper?" At the time, I did not know what he meant. The distance between my friend's house and mine, all you gotta do is get on the 303. It is a 10-minute drive. It's empty late at night. Literally all this was happening in the span of like 10 minutes. And he starts telling me that he could set me up with some of these rich friends and I could get paid to spend the night with them. This whole time, I'm just letting him talk. Like, I'm completely silent. So I don't know how he even got the idea that this would be something I'd be into. Once we finally get to my house, why does he lock the door, turn off the car, and log out of his Uber app? Started saying that like, "Oh, I could have an apartment and the guy just has to have a key, but he won't actually live there, but he could come in and out whenever he wanted." The way these townhouses were set up, you could park either in your garage or you could park in the outdoor parking spots. So he asked me, "Oh, which one of those cars is yours?" I'm not going to tell him what car I drive, so I pointed to a random one. He's like, "Do you own it or do you lease it?" And I'm like, "Oh, I lease it." Now he's going off about how stupid I am with money. He's telling me, "Oh, I know a dentist that could fix your teeth," and I'm like, damn, do I need to? He knows a plastic surgery that can give me boobs, give me a BBL. Keep in mind, I actually had a friend that was waiting for me at my house. Like, they were at my door just standing there for me to like get out of this car and they could see me in there. So they were texting me like, "What the fuck is going on? Why are you in that car?" So I'm telling this dude, like, my friend is literally standing over there, like, "I need to get out. Let me out of the car. Like, why is it locked?" He turns around and tells me, "Okay, well, if you want to proceed, I have 3 things that I require from you," which I never gave him the indication that I wanted to. 1, you have to be pretty with a personality. 2, I have to want to you all the time, so you need to always look good. And 3, no hair. He said, "The only way I'm letting you out is if you give me your number." Now, at the time, I had a business line, my personal, and I also had a text-free number that I would give to people that I didn't feel fully comfortable giving them my real number, because you could do a lot with that online. And I've also been in the situation where I've given somebody a fake number and I couldn't say it back to them and they caught me in my lie. And that could be very dangerous. So I gave him the fake number. He actually called it to see that my phone would ring and he said, "Okay, you can go and unlock the car." For the next couple of weeks, he kept calling me, leaving text messages from random numbers. It was never the same one. But luckily, he never came back to my house and he just eventually gave up. I'm not sharing this to scare anybody from using Uber, but it is scary because you are getting in a stranger's car. And that is why I don't use Uber anymore.